Yo, what is up YouTube? And today we're going to be talking about Cachi TG, otherwise known as Cachi the Guard, or even Cachi the GOAT. Now he definitely is the GOAT of supports for SR characters. He's extremely strong. There are a ton of good SR characters out there, but he is very good in a lot of areas of content. It's mostly going to be because of his S3. So let's actually look at his skills very quickly. His S3 is a buff. It gives everyone defense buff and immunity. And when you actually trigger a critical success, it's basically a 2-turn immunity and 3-turn defense buff. And there's a way to manipulate it so this always happens. So basically, you could think of it as like a 3-turn defense buff and a 2-turn immunity, which is extremely powerful. Immunity is one of the best buffs in the game right now because there's not a lot of sources of it. And in PvE content, if you're ever fighting a team, especially in like Anti-Sync Echoes where you're getting like CC'd at the start and getting one shot, if you guys are doing Anti-Sync Echoes, you probably already encountered this. You can run Cachi the Guard on a super fast build and even like Gigabyte and have him cut before the enemies use their CC and put up that immunity. It's very good. So very strong in that regard. He also has a very powerful S2. It has a pushback on the turn meter, which is pretty large. It's 65% chance to push back by 20%. You could do this 3 times. And you'll also see that it has a 100% chance to put a 2-turn speed down. Very good on bosses. You stop them from taking turns, and you essentially push back their turn meter while also making them take forever to catch back up. Next we have his S1, single target attack. This is actually pretty underrated. It has a chance to inflict crit rate down. This works on bosses as well. Makes it so that you have an extra debuff to actually proc your momentum set on your DPSs, which will actually make you do more damage with more debuffs on the target, and also just makes your team do more damage, take less damage, sorry. So you can see he's a pretty defensive oriented support. Although he doesn't have any healing or shielding, he has very powerful buffs and debuffs, so it makes him a very good option, especially if you pair him with something that can heal him. So basically, you know, if you need a good unit to pair with him, Vice is very good. I just made a video on him because Vice has a ton of healing from his passive, and he also has attack down. So attack down and crit rate down on the boss is insane. Something like a Linglo is very good as well because even though they stack immunity, she can actually extend his immunity with her S2, which makes it super strong, and the defense buff. So you can pretty much have it up all the time if you're manualing, which is insanely good. And she has healing to make up for Cachi's lack of healing. So you can see he has a lot of characters he synergizes with. You just slot him with the healer, and you bring in DPS, and you can flex the 4th and 5th spot, and you're good to go. Now, the way his S3 works, the way you actually guarantee this 3-turn defense buff and 2-turn immunity with that critical success, because it scales off your effect accuracy, you need at least 182% effect accuracy. This will guarantee that it will land after you do all the math, of course after you max it out. If you don't have this maxed out, you need even more, but I didn't really calculate it because you may as well just max it because it's very good to put other stats elsewhere on him because he does want some health and speed. So because of that, just aim for 182 effect accuracy. Everything else you just put into speed and health if you can, speed being more important, and he's good to go. I have him on the Swift Rush and Time Weave set because I do want to actually have him cycle very quick, and the Time Weave helps with the effect accuracy build, and it also gives him a chance to reduce the cooldown of his S3, which is super strong, so you can keep this immunity up pretty much all the time. If you get like 1 proc of Time Weave, you have that defense buff up permanently. If you get 2, you have immunity up permanently. It's just super strong. And you know, just Swift Rush is like the only one you really need. After that, it's really up to you, but Time Weave is definitely going to be the second best. Now for his shell, there's a lot of options. I like to run Artisan because it gives him shielding and some sort of sustain, which he lacks. Also because you need to run him on 2 effect accuracy right side pieces at least, sometimes 3. You're going to find that he's kind of squishy, so because of that, I like Artisan, and this way he can actually shield himself, get extra defense, and you definitely want to roll for some defensive passives on the first passive because it'll make him a lot more tankier because he's inherently pretty squishy. You can keep him at level 5, or not level 5, 5-star, he's fine at 5-star. You probably will eventually 6-star him because he's used in so much content, and you'll see that he's very strong just as a general overall character. If you're looking to break into shell farming, you're probably going to get into Nico Nana Inferno, and he is one of the best characters if you look at recent clears. With dot comp, he's very good. Without dot comp, he's very good. With any comp, you're going to see that he's pretty much used like everywhere just because he's strong in Nico Nana. I have a free-to-play team comp you can check on my channel that has Cachi the Guard on it. There's no SSRs on that team and it works. He's also pretty much necessary for Sharon. You cannot do Sharon without him because you really need that immunity, and he's just super strong here. I think he's also going to be used in some thresholds, I believe. You can use him in I've seen him used in Terramaton. He's super strong in Terramaton. Let me see if I can find a run because I have to go through recent clears. He may not be here, but yeah, you see Cachi the Guard's used here. Also used here. Yeah, he's used in Termaton as well. So you can see that he has a lot of uses in Inferno. And on top of that, he is super good in some bosses, in some fights in Anasync Echoes. You'll always be able to use him. He's also very good in Ember Check in some really like CC heavy stages. And also in Ethernet Rally, because he's a Dart character, you can use him in 2 of the teams. And you're going to see that I use him in this one team, but I also flex him in this team as well. So he's a very good option, and he's super strong for that. So yeah, definitely a really good character you want to build. I think he's one of the SRs you definitely want to build no matter what, alongside like Valerian and like Fangus probably. But Cachi the Guard is like super good, and you definitely want to make sure you build him. Just make sure that you have him on decent speed with at least 182% effect accuracy, and you'll find him to be a super strong character in a lot of the areas of content where you want that defensive support. So I'm going to be showcasing the team comp that I like to run. Actually, I don't really run this, to be honest, but that I see people run a lot. And that is going to be Cachi the Goat paired with Vice, which is kind of a staple, the 2 of them together. And then you're going to have, 2 other characters, 1 to deal damage to the boss and 1 to support. So there's a lot of options for your damage dealers. You can bring like Rosa, you can bring Yeli, you can bring Shiada, you can bring Diding. The thing is, if you bring anything other than Fangus, you really want to make sure you have speed up on your team, whether it be from Lily or from Mio or something, or Red Casio, a very good free-to-play option. That way, the boss takes more damage. Speed buff will make your team do more damage because the boss's damage reduction on this fight is based off of the speed difference. So speed up and speed down really helps. And besides that, you'll see Cachi is doing a very good job keeping up defense buff and immunity to make my team not be able to get stun locked, because the 2 side gorilla guys can stun lock you, which is super annoying. And the boss can defense down you, which is also very scary. So Cachi makes the run a lot more safer, and him on Artisan actually makes it so that on top of that defense buff, the barrier gets affected by the defense buff. You're just taking minimal damage, and any damage you take will just get healed up by Vice and Linglo. It's a pretty long fight, but honestly, it is faster than Diding teams, mostly because they're doing percent damage. And yeah, you can see the taunt on the boss is very nice to protect everyone. And this is a big reason why I like Vice with Cachi, because Vice you can just put on full tank at like 100% effect accuracy and just have him just try to taunt the boss as much as he can, and that way he can protect Cachi, because Cachi is going to be on 3 effect accuracy usually. Vice also has attack down, which makes it so that you can make the boss do a lot less damage. And you're going to see the dots are ticking in here, and pretty safe run, pretty quick. Actually, it was 227, which is very fast with Fangus. So if you want to get into Inferno farming, this is a very good way. And wow, we get onslaught momentum. This could be used on, like, I don't know, something that uses momentum. But yeah, you can see that, Cachi the Goat, even though he's not that flashy, he defends your team if you actually break it down by preventing your team from getting CC'd and giving you that amazing defense buff, and also putting speed down in turn, pushing back the boss. That is Cachi the Goat, guys. This guy, you must build him, even though you're not a fan of small little boys, which I hope most of you aren't. He's still very good for the game, super strong, very good defensively, and honestly, anywhere where you're finding yourself getting CC'd or debuffed a lot, you can just slot him in, and he's a huge upgrade and benefit to your team. Thank you for watching, guys. Let me know in the comments down below where you use your Cachi and what you think about him, and I'll see you guys next video.